Another Senate committee is weighing whether to subpoena the maker of several popular prescription weight loss drugs. The Help Committee is investigating the high cost of Ozempic and Wegovy in the U.S., and it's expected to vote next week on whether to summon drug maker Novo Nordisk to testify at a hearing next month. Now, the price difference with other countries is stunning. Americans with diabetes pay $969 a month for Ozempic compared to $155 in Canada, $122 in Denmark, and just $59 in Germany. And for Wegovy, it's more than $1,300 a month in the U.S. compared to $265 in Canada and $92 in the UK. Novo Nordisk says the U.S. health system is to blame for those high prices and that it retains only about 60% of the list price. That's according to a report from Bloomberg. But let's bring in America Tonight medical contributor Dr. Omer Awan tonight. So Dr. Awan, thanks for joining us again. First, let's start with these costs. I mean, I know people who use these drugs are going to see the numbers on the screen there and say, what the heck? What needs to be done to make this an even playing field?
Well, I think we have to understand first why it is. Why is it that in America these prices are so astronomically high? And part of the reason is because the U.S. government doesn't negotiate drug prices with drug makers. And pretty much these drug makers like Novo Nordisk can literally set their own prices at will and charge whatever they want to do. And a lot of these drug makers have patents which prevents other companies and generic brands from coming into the market. So this is why we have a huge problem with drug prices. And these prices are very skyrocket high. I mean, we're talking about $1,300 for a monthly supply for Wegovy, which is a bit ridiculous considering the fact that, obesity, which is what this is treating, disproportionately affects, underserved people, minorities, people that really can't afford that. And, the good news is that Medicare, the Part D plan, is now going to potentially cover this medicine if you have pre-existing cardiovascular disease, but still there may be hurdles for even those individuals to get the drug. So really disappointing in America when it comes to drugs and drug prices, and so many people facing medication insecurity and not being able to afford medicines that really can have a profound effect on their overall health in the future.
And so many people are clamoring for these drugs, and we've already seen the demand lead to shortages. On top of that, obesity disproportionately affects low-income Americans. So what can they do if these drugs are a good answer for them and they just can't afford it?
Well, they can be a good answer, and they definitely have very amazing benefits. We're talking about, curbing obesity, having sustained weight loss, 10 to 20% of their weight, long-term. It has cardiovascular effects. It has benefits with respect to the kidney. But there are concerns too, Marisa, that I want to, sort of highlight. These drugs generally are safe, but there are important side effects that I think people really need to understand. Things like, gallbladder issues, inflammation of the pancreas, which can lead to severe abdominal pain, even linked to a certain type of thyroid cancer, mental health issues like depression and suicidal thoughts. So, these are serious side effects that, everyone should really understand before they take the drug. And, I'm very concerned about unintended consequences that occur from, taking these drugs, because a lot of these individuals will come to Ozempic and Wegovy as a quick fix to fix obesity. But the problem with that is that, they're not, or many people may not address lifestyle modifications that are very important when we talk about treating obesity. Things like, sustaining diet and having a healthy diet, regularly exercising. And, it's one thing to reduce the number on the weight machine, but the goal for obesity treatment should really be to improve overall long-term health. And this is not what we're seeing, particularly when we have, celebrities touting the use of this drug for the short term, when, as we know, obesity is a chronic disease. It's a long-term disease. And these medicines were made for the long term. So, it's sort of undermining the spirit of these medicines when these are only taken for the short term and not for the long term.
Yeah, and you got to a lot here that I wanted to ask you about, because one of the concerns that I've heard is that these prescriptions really just help you more comfortably starve yourself, which is not healthy. So what is your response to that criticism?
Well, I don't know that it necessarily starves yourself, because honestly, the way the mechanism that this drug works is that it prevents or delays emptying of fluid from the stomach. So people tend to, they're full for longer. So they don't crave food as much. It also acts on hunger centers and cravings in the brain, so that people don't crave fatty foods as much. So it's a very powerful drug, and it's very effective at losing weight. But at the same time, you need to be taking this drug long term. Those that take the drug, for 1 or 2 months, just to lose weight, before going to the beach, and they stop taking the drug, many of these individuals will start to gain that weight back immediately once they stop taking the drug. So this drug should really be used out of medical necessity for those that really have obesity and are diagnosed with obesity, so they can use the drug in an effective manner to lose weight in the long term.
Yeah, so many good things to remember. America Tonight medical contributor Dr. Omer Awan, thank you as always.
My pleasure. Thank you.